Back in 2018 or 2019 thereabouts, The Outer Worlds was announced to be coming out, and a lot of us, myself included, were really hyped up. A brand new action-adventure role-playing game developed by Obsidian, the makers of Fallout New Vegas, the best Fallout game? You have my attention, that sounds amazing! The combat and role-playing were adequate enough, and I don't remember hating it. Zach and I played a bit of it on the channel, but stopped after a few hours. I did end up beating it on my own, but it didn't really leave a lasting impression. It probably didn't help that around the same time, another game with a similar title came out, Outer Wilds, and that game was absolutely phenomenal, instantly rocketing into my top 5 games of all time. It is a marvelous open-world game about space travel and solving the mysteries of the universe and discovering the fate of an alien race of people that mysteriously vanished. Honestly, it is an amazing experience full of awe and spectacle. I highly recommend. But The Outer Worlds? Not so much. It's been 5 years since I played this game, and in preparation for its upcoming sequel, I tried to remember what I could from my time with it. And I came up with surprisingly little. Perhaps the thing that stuck with me the most was the heavy narrative emphasis on how much everything sucks because everyone's life was controlled by the 3 mega space conglomerates. And that critique of capitalism was heavy-handed, even back then. Everywhere you went in the game, you met another character talking about how their boss withheld their paycheck because they didn't smile enough, or a grieving widow wanted you to retrieve her husband's body so that she could sell the organs to pay her rent. It was a never-ending parade of misery, and yeah, I know how late-stage capitalism sucks. I'm living through it! It was bad enough back in 2019 when this game came out, but things haven't exactly gotten better. But besides that, what else do I remember about this game? Well, there was a flirtatious AI trapped inside a Nintendo Virtual Boy. There was the scientist that looked like the doctor from Back to the Future. There was gunplay, there was skill checks, and there were 6 companions you could travel with. I remember there was the mechanic girl, I want to say her name was Pepper. There was also a priest, a rogue, one of them was a robot, I think there was a Krogan, maybe? I honestly can't remember. Part of the problem is that in the last few years, I have played so many mid-tier space RPGs that they all meld together in my mind. The Outer Worlds, Mass Effect Andromeda, Starfield, all of these games combined make a pile of gray, lukewarm mush in my mind. I had an infinitely better time playing the Rick and Morty space game about talking guns. But the sequel to Outer Worlds is coming out soon, and it got me thinking, did I judge this game too harshly? Perhaps I gave it an impossible standard to live up to. Maybe I failed to judge this game purely by its own merits. It's entirely possible that I simply didn't go into it with the right mindset. There are plenty of games that I initially had a bad experience with, only to eventually end up liking after giving it a second chance. So I'm ready to dive back in and see if Outer Worlds is better than I remember. I don't know if I played this game with low intelligence, but it does say that dumb dialogue options are unlocked. I'd like to see if that's a constant thing, or if they're just tossing you the occasional dumb dialogue every once in a while. If it's persistent, that would be impressive, but I'm not expecting that. Maybe I'll put my points into melee weapons, see if the game punishes me for not having enough firearm skill.
Good. I need someone with an instinct for self-preservation.
I do think this game starts off very strong. After a short opening cutscene talking to Phineas, you get dropped out on this world, and you're free to walk around, and it's beautiful. I guess there's no lockpicking minigame, and I'm not going to complain about that. Lockpicking minigames are always more annoying than anything. Remind me, does this game have stealth takedowns? I don't think it does. Oh, it seems like the reason I don't have stealth attacks yet is because I haven't put enough points into stealth. I need to have sneak at level 20 to be able to do the insta-kill from behind. Well, maybe not insta-kill, but I would do bonus damage, so... Now, I was trying to swap back and forth between my gun and my knife using the D-pad, but that doesn't work. The D-pad is not used for a weapon quick select. I have to hold down the triangle button or the Y button and pull up a weapon wheel. And I'm not a big fan of weapon wheels, honestly. Very sluggish. Would have preferred to use the D-pad, honestly. but at least I can quick tap the triangle/Y button to go back and forth between my most recent weapons, so that's useful. So I've been playing this game for about an hour now, and here are some of my takeaways. First things first, I found the first companion. Parvati is her name, which is not what I remembered it being. She's been fun so far, hasn't overdone it with the chatter, and she feels very thematically in line with the world. I go up to NPCs sometimes, and they have additional things to say to her. It's not too obtrusive, it feels very natural the way she casually interrupts to have conversation with them. I did a quest to get medicine for somebody. It sent me to an abandoned facility. There were some marauders there. I practiced out my stealth kills on them. Melee combat's still kind of tricky. Maybe I'll get better at it the more I practice it. There was also a small task I was given to deal with a malfunctioning robot. I could have just destroyed it in combat, or because I had Parvati with me, she could have hacked it and repaired it with her repair skill. But because I had some engineering skill and I was kind of dumb, I just said, no, it's okay, I'll hit it with a hammer. And that was a solution as well. So that was nice how there were a couple different options for that.
Ooh, ow, could you not? I mean, it's a mechanical, sure, but that just seems mean.
Navigation systems operational.
As I've been progressing, I've also been distributing my skill points into various skills. And every once in a while, I'll unlock a new ability, such as being able to perfect block so I can open up for a counterattack. This is pretty cool. It feels like I'm doing more than just increasing the amount of damage I do with a single swing or bullet. It means that I have new ways to approach combat. So this is pretty cool. If I put a few more points into sneak, I'll be able to pickpocket from humans. That'll be nice. In fact, if I really wanted to go into the stealth kill playstyle, I can start dumping a lot of points into sneak, and I'll have faster crouch movement speed. I'll be able to sneak attack them in the back, be able to ignore their armor. So this could be a viable playstyle if I invest into it. Alright, it is now 5 hours into the game. I have done everything on this first planet, and I gotta say, maybe I misjudged this game, because I'm having a pretty good time. I wrapped up the main quest. I got a pretty good compromise ending. Instead of siding with one faction over the other, I was able to bring them together, and I seem to have gotten the best ending. Outside of that, there was also a fair amount of side quests, and I've done pretty much every one I can find, and I didn't have a problem with any of them. None of them went on too long, none of them were frustrating, it was just decently fun. At this point, I feel like my criticisms of the game are pretty minute. I'm not a big fan of the weapon quick select menu. Some of the menus are a bit cumbersome to navigate. I'm having a bit of trouble making the stealth takedown playstyle actually work. And I also wish that I had a flashlight. A lot of areas are very dim. Sometimes it's just difficult to see, and I wish I could briefly illuminate what I was looking at. But overall, I'm having a pretty good time. So, on to the next level, I suppose. Having your own spaceship is probably one of my favorite parts about these space travel RPGs. You get your own little party bus, and you get to drive this little slice of paradise from planet to planet, and it's just so great to be able to come back here after a long day's work and hang out with your friends. For now, the occupants of the ship are me, the 2 companions I picked up on that planet, as well as this AI. Got a fair amount of personality, and I'm sure I'll be able to pick up more. Man, the game looks amazing. This game is quite beautiful. Well, it's time to explore the rest of the galaxy, and I have a couple locations I'm supposed to go to, so let's not go there and check out some other locations instead. Alright, Celia's landing pad. I'm not sure how much I can get done here since I'm not supposed to be here yet, but man, this game just looks so good. In real life, there's too much light pollution where I live to see the Milky Way. But this is a nice substitute, I think. Oh god, what the what the hell just killed me? She's got murdered by staring at the night sky. What the Ugh, stealth just doesn't work. I swear, it just doesn't work. What the oh god. God. Holy shit. I've been on this planet for 15 minutes, and I've already died 3 or 4 times. Everything that I've encountered has been hostile. The robots, the people, the animals. I don't see any signs of civilization or anyone who wants to give me quests. This is a very tough location. Might be a late game location, so let's leave. Let's come back later. Okay, why don't we go to Groundbreaker after all, so we can get the passkey to land on planet Monarch and continue the main quest. I forgot how riddled with advertisements this location is. If I lived here, I'd probably be annoyed by all the lights, but as a tourist, it's kind of pretty. Hello.
Sorry about the heat. Chief Tennyson will get the radiators fixed soon.
I must not have met you when I first played this, because I think I would remember you. Well, I've spent about an hour on this ship, talked to a couple folks, went to a couple stores, did a couple of small tasks, and I picked up 2 more companions. Now I've got Ellie and Felix here, so I've got 4 to choose from. I did not make a whole lot of progress in the main quest. I was told I would have to go to back to Terra 2, the planet I was just on, and follow a distress signal, and once I did that task, I'd be able to get the passkey I was here for, so I'll be back, Gladys. Okay, we're back on that first planet, and we're gonna check out that distress call. There's a group of marauders here. I'm gonna try and take them out with stealth, and I have immediately failed. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm just not very good at stealth, or stealth is not very good at this game. I don't know. Stealth is just a bad choice. It is now an hour later. I have been exploring this area, the Roseway Gardens region, for a bit now. And I gotta admit, things are starting to feel like I'm falling into a bit of a slump. The game still looks good, it performs fine. These quests that I'm being sent on aren't bad. But there are some parts that are starting to feel like a bit of a drag. Most of the people I've been talking to have the same general motif going on, where they're forced to live in servitude to the corporation that they work for, and it's to the detriment of their health and happiness and livelihood, and they hate their lives. It's kind of bleak. Very few people are excited to see me. Most of them are just miserable. At this point, I've kind of abandoned my stealth takedown playstyle. For the most part, I have so many health items, and I've upgraded my armor so much that I can generally run up to most enemies and just kind of wail on them until they die. Even if they're in a swarm, I can just tank the attacks. Why would I bother going for stealth takedowns when there are so many enemies and stealth takedowns are so difficult to pull off? And I can really just bash their heads in until they stop moving. Some enemies are tougher than others. There are some wild beasts out here that I am clearly not supposed to be picking fights with. But there are also some robots in buildings that I am tasked to clear out that have been very tanky so far. Taking a good 10 to 20 swings with a melee weapon, so it's getting kind of boring, just wailing on robots for minutes straight. The big quest in this area revolved around diet toothpaste, and yeah, that's kind of the big thing here. So I went out to find the missing data on the diet toothpaste, which would be fine for a simple side quest, I suppose, but that's kind of like the main quest of the region so far, and really not very exciting. So far, everything about this game has been quite beautiful. You know, you look up in the sky, you see the beautiful stars and the different planets and stuff, and it's really cool, and you walk around, you see all these neat plants, and it's very colorful and luscious. And then you fight some monsters, you know, some wild beasts, and that's a lot of fun. But outside of that, I feel like this game really isn't making the best use out of the fact that it's a space game. A lot of what I'm doing isn't really space stuff. Going into abandoned laboratories, listening to stories of corporate malfeasance, killing dozens upon dozens of these raider archetypes. I've done it all before. Space is supposed to represent nearly limitless potential, where I can go anywhere and do anything. And yet I'm limited to these small regions of individual planets. And the tasks I'm given aren't really ambitious. This game is mechanically sound. I don't have any nitpicks about basically anything. But the story that it's telling, the missions that it's giving me, they're starting to fall flat. I'm starting to get bored. I'm also 10 hours in, and there hasn't been a pivotal moment or something really exciting or shocking that happens. Something that snaps me out of my stupor. It's all been mechanical and routine. It feels kind of like I'm going through the motions. And honestly, the whole experience so far has felt fairly linear. The one or two times I've tried to stray off the beaten path, I just haven't had the combat skills to deal with it, or I haven't had the nav key or the clearance to go there. I'm kind of just going through a fairly linear game. I feel like I'm on a pretty set path at this point. You gave me this giant ship so I can go wherever I wanted, at my leisure, but I don't really have the freedom that such a thing would normally entail. It took a bit of work, but we are finally here on planet Monarch, which I think is actually technically a moon. Yes, that's the planet it orbits. What a friggin' view. Man. Even though it feels a bit washed out, there's a bit of a yellow haze in the air. Everywhere I go, there's a beautiful sight to behold, and I'm really happy to be present for it. Yeah, this has been a fun planet so far. Nothing crazy, just I'm doing like a handful of missions. I thought there was going to be a really interesting one because I found a dead body. Thought it was going to spiral out into a murder mystery I could solve, but it was pretty simple to figure out. Just a couple of thugs in the back alley, so yeah, not a whole lot of amazing quests so far. It's just competent, decent so far. I was also given a different quest to investigate a missing person. So I went to their last known location, and I found a bunch of people here saying, "Oh, we don't know where he is, but won't you like to stay for dinner? Dinner's getting cold. You want some dinner?" And yeah, it's a cannibal house. It's pretty blunt. So that's the kind of quests we're dealing with here. It's pretty predictable in their writing. I've now spent about 2.5 hours on this planet. Most of the quests have been okay, not bad, not amazing. I'm doing the main quest right now, which requires me to get to the top of a place called Devil's Peak, so I'm scaling a mountain. And there's a lot of tough enemies up here. It feels like I'm hitting a brick wall. Even if I run past these Mantiqueens and Mantiqueen soldiers and stuff, there's some tougher enemies up top, and they just keep on killing me, so this kind of sucks. I'm glad my bullets are all doing 3 damage because I've invested in melee. But I can't actually get close to this guy because he's got a flamethrower. Wow, this guy doesn't even care anymore. I got so far out of his attack range that he forgot I existed. This is not what's supposed to happen, I think. He's just going on a stroll. We're going for a ride. He's taking us on a tour of the facility. I was joking, but he actually is taking us all the way up here. All right. Okay. He's learned his lesson. All right. Follow him.
Incoming.
Okay. Now we're fighting again. Silly. Now that I made it to the top of the mountain and went inside the station here, I realized that I need to resolve the local war between the two rival factions, the Iconoclasts and the MSI. So it looks like this planet is going to be a big ol' Act 2. It's not just a place where I can do a handful of quests. It is a pretty important location. So I'm 3 hours in, and I've gone to a fair amount of the locations, but I got to go back down and settle a turf war, get them to stop trying to scramble each other's radio broadcasts so I can get my mission done. So I've been here for 3 hours, and I'm probably going to be here for at least another 2 hours is my guess. So I've been doing some quests for this guy right here. He's one of the leaders of the two main factions. And I think this dialogue right here is a perfect example of why I just kind of zone out whenever most characters are speaking to me in this game. He told me to go get Bolt 52, and I brought it back. And he told me that it's a Bill of Liquidation transfer form 52, and it'll protect their holdings on Monarch by temporarily assigning them a pass-through entity once they drop their bomb on the board. And it's like, at this point, my eyes have rolled to the back of my head, and I stopped paying attention. Everyone in this game talks in corpo speak, and I'm too dumb. I can't follow. I don't mean to be too reductive, but it kind of feels like this is largely what I've been doing for the last 3 hours. It's just wailing and shooting enemies non-stop. Usually it's hitting in pursuit of a larger goal, but it's just a lot of combat. Whew, I just finished up my quest in this building. What quest was that, you may ask? I was installing rollers on a printing press. Yeah.
What in the... Captain, there's a fireball in the sky.
Oh, is something happening? We finally get a set piece? Alright, like 12 hours into the game and something really interesting is happening. Wow.
Black holes. Did you see that?
I did. It's the first interesting thing that has happened since this game began. I thought I was done settling the war between the two rival factions. I did quests for both of them and they seemed pretty calm overall, but it seems like they both want whatever just crash landed on this planet, and whoever I give those resources to is probably not going to be too friendly with the other faction. This is going to cause some friction, I bet. Aha! I've made it! This is the crashed ship. Alright, now to check it out.
It's a shame you can't see this middle finger I'm holding up, because I'm doing it as hard as I can.
Was that an Aqua Teen Hunger Force reference? To the Moonanites? Wow, I did not expect a reference like that. Well, there wasn't much of that crashed spaceship, but I got the thing. Oh, okay. I think I'll give this thing to the MSI faction, because the leader of that faction's been pretty cool so far. The other faction, the Iconoclasts, a bit more religiously fervent. Their leader seems to be kind of an idiot. He's the one who sent me to do that printing press quest, so... Yeah, I'm a side with Sanjar. If I had done this a little differently, I might have been able to make a peaceful solution between the two factions like I did with the last planet, but... Yeah, I'm just too exhausted to go through all the extra effort. I'm just gonna kill that faction, I guess. Or, alternatively, since I have what I came to this planet for, I can just leave. Good luck with your gang war! That does actually seem to be an option. I can just leave. I have no idea what's gonna happen at this place if I bail in the middle of their factional war, but, yeah, I kind of want to be done with this planet for now. I decided to come back to this planet, and for possibly the silliest reason ever, Parvati wanted some cookies that were only available in this city. So I am literally returning to this planet and killing off one of the major factions here just so I can get Parvati some cookies. This is not a mandatory part of the game. I am doing it anyway. The Iconoclasts are now dead and Parvati has her cookies. A while back, I got a lead on a quest that sounds like it could be very interesting. An abandoned space station. You just gotta board it and claim it as salvage. That's the kind of thing I'd expect from a space game. This could be fun. For basically every other mission in the game, every time I come across a log or a terminal entry, I just kind of skip through it because I don't care, but I'm actually curious, and I'm going to be reading all the notes and terminals because this could be a really fun mission. Ow! Why are there landmines on this abandoned ship? Something's not right here. So far, this mission has been pretty cool. I was able to use my stealth against some robots for the first time in a long time. It actually worked against them. And then I was able to use my hacking skill to disable the rest of them, so I don't have to worry about them anymore. And now I'm taking my time trying to uncover what happened here. Okay, we have secured this abandoned vessel. I've read through some terminals, learned about the scientific experiments that were going on here. It's a pretty cool place. Little inconclusive about what happened at the end. I might be able to follow up on a lead on that later. But overall, this ship was pretty cool to explore, and I enjoyed this mission, and I hope I get more missions like it. That one felt good. So the woman that I was doing this quest for has been giving me a couple different quests, and now I'm starting to figure out that they're all linked together in some unifying way. It's not just a bunch of random nonsense. I'm not just doing work for the sake of doing work. There's actually something unspooling before my eyes. This is good.
I believed that I could adapt humans to live on Halcyon's terms. That I could change us. Give us the ability to derive sustenance from the nutrients the food does have.
I don't understand. I don't get it.
Food here doesn't feed us real good. So I want to change Earth humans into halcyon humans. Yes?
This is actually a really good use of the low intelligence perk, because a lot of what these eggheads are saying, it kind of goes over my head, so I always choose the dumb option, and they break it down for me in baby terms, and it's actually very useful.
Give me one reason why I should let you walk out of here alive.
Because I can't really walk out of here if I'm dead.
Wrong answer.
But it was the funniest answer, so I had to take it. Well, I gotta say, that was a fun mission. I wish they were all that good. If they were all that good, then this would be a great, easily recommended game, like 10 out of 10. But, they're not all that great. The main quest has brought me back to where I started, the ship Hope, where I was cryogenically frozen, before I was unfrozen and this whole adventure began. My task is to bring this ship to orbit a different planet. And I'm supposed to let my computer, my ship's computer, auto-target everything and auto-navigate us there. But because I had low intelligence, I started hitting buttons and I got a bad ending. I flew this ship into the sun. So that was fun. But no, let's do it proper now. Very nice, very nice. This is exactly where I wanted to put it. I think I'm nearing the end game. We all just had a round table discussion talking about the point of no return, going to this final planet. If I had a few more moments like this where I could sit down and talk to my companions, then I might actually have formed an emotional bond with them. But as of right now, no, not really. I've talked to them a handful of times. I did Parvati's loyalty quest. I've done a few things for Vicar Max and Nyoka, but we really haven't had much of a time to bond. To be honest, we're basically about to embark on a suicide mission, and I basically know nothing about Felix here. Half the time I can't even remember his name. We really haven't done anything. If he has a loyalty quest, I haven't done it yet. But before we go to the finale of the game, there is another planet I can head to. I thought it was going to be the third act. I thought we'd have to go there before we went to the end game, but I guess it's optional. But I do have a dozen quests pointing me there, so let's go to the third act of the game. The unofficial, not mandatory third act of the game, I suppose. And we're back here on the Meteor, Scylla. I got killed a lot last time I was here, including when the spacecraft landed on my head. But I've leveled up. I'm a lot stronger now. My weapons are sharper, my armor is thicker, my companions are more accurate in combat, and I feel like there's a lot we can get done here. Yeah, not so easy pickings now, am I?
The strong survive and the weak perish. I smite you in the name of the law.
Oh, goddamn. This guy.
May the law have mercy on you. I won't.
Damn, Vicar, can you stop having the absolute best lines? Holy crap.
You're going down.
Yeah, good job, Felix, I guess. Man, you're so much less cool.
Here I come.
Oh, okay, there you go, Felix.
Boss, did you see that?
I did. I saw a sniper up there and I told you to drop kick him, and then you did by jumping up like 5 feet. It's pretty fun. Okay, I think we're done on this asteroid. There is no Act 3 here, just a couple of small quests. It's fun. And that'll just about do it for the base game. Overall, I had a pretty good time. It was better than I thought it was going to be. The game always looks amazing. It never looks bad. It's just great from start to finish. There's always a fun biome or a cool skybox to check out. There's just so many fun places to go, so many cool flora and fauna to see. I really enjoyed this universe. This is a great universe. The computer was fine, had more personality than a typical computer, but she never really had any memorable lines. She made me chuckle once or twice here and there, but not very exciting. As for the other 6 companions, Parvati is still the best. Her companion quest, loyalty quest thing was cute. She's always positive and chipper. Great to have her around, especially because she gives you a +10 to your engineering skill. just great. Just Parvati's great. Everyone else, they're okay. Nyoka did fine, but I suppose there was a reason I didn't remember her when trying to think back on this game. You don't get her until pretty late, and she doesn't do a whole lot to stand out. What's her whole deal? She's a hunter, a barfly. That's kind of it. She's okay. Okay. Then you got Sam here, the cleaning robot who can be optimized for war. A fun novelty. Vicar Max was pretty good, maybe even the second best companion in the game. He certainly got the best companion ability. I loved hearing his one-liners. That was really badass. I liked that. And his companion quest was okay. Really, everyone's companion quest is kind of okay. Then there was Ellie. I liked her. Dr. Marauder, Dr. Bandit, whatever she is. Half combat medic, half pirate. She was okay. Her companion quest was that she stole money from her parents. That was kind of it. And then there's Felix. Felix is probably the weakest one. I just really does not have a whole lot going on. His companion quest was really nothing. Sorry, Felix, you're kind of the worst one. Not bad, but like, you're 5 out of 10, you're 6 out of 10. Everyone's just kind of okay. As for the quests themselves, I like the way they're structured. There are plenty of opportunities to chart your own path, including many opportunities to fail out of a quest. I like the way that skill checks are utilized. Sometimes choosing a skill check is not necessarily the best idea, but it does open up different ways to resolve certain quests. So the quest design is good. I like it. I like the freedom it gives you sometimes. I just don't think the quests are necessarily particularly interesting. There are a couple of fun ones here and there, but overall, not a whole lot of super memorable ones. My build here at the end game is that I've spec'd heavily into melee, which has probably made combat a bit easier. Ranged, not so much. Defense, I was more offensive than defensive. I put a fair amount of points into Intimidate, and that opened up a lot of opportunities to bully people into giving me what I wanted, so that was nice. Stealth, I mean, I was investing in stealth for a while, and it had some uses here and there, but not really. Hacking definitely had its uses. I've been investing into hack. I wish I had more points in hack. I'd like to have 100 hack, because there are still some terminals out there I wasn't able to hack, but outside of that, no. Lockpicking was good. I like having lots of lockpicking, too. The pickpocketing I unlocked with the sneak skill, I haven't had a lot of opportunities to use it. It hasn't worked out very often for me. I don't know who is leveling up their character so hard they get any skill up to 150 and become a virtuoso. It's hard enough getting these skills up to where they are right now. I got one at 70 and one at 80 and the second one at 80, but you'd have to like hyper specialize if you wanted to get something all the way up to 150. That'd be kind of crazy. All right, final battle, go. Yeah, we're just gonna assault a prison ship and break Phineas Wells out of his jail cell. And the board will not be happy about that, but you know what? The board can suck my nuts.
All right, MSI. I'm not one for rousing speeches, but the captain needs our help.
Oh.
So get in there and...
Thanks, Saranjar. I was actually approaching this with stealth. I thought this would be a good opportunity for me to sneak behind the enemy defenses and actually be stealthy, but I guess a whole head-on assault will work. Is that the final boss down there? The machine that's gonna wipe me out, Alright, machine, it's you and me.
Never anger a man of the cloth.
And my angry holy man. Well, that did nothing. I just realized that this is probably the least exciting boss battle music I've ever heard. Amazing.
I'll take your confession now.
God, how many one-liners did you record, Vicar Max? Alright, I hope that wasn't the last boss, because if that was like the final climactic boss, that would be not exactly memorable. Yeah, the final boss of Outer Worlds was a robot that I've never heard of before. Oh, there we go. No talking, are we? Alright. Looks like you are the final... boss. Well, we had more of a rapport than the random robot.
Get me out of here!
Yeah, you got it. Alright, I'll free you and then we could wrap it up and have a good happy ever after. I beat the game and I got the ending slideshow, that all-important slideshow telling you exactly what happens to all the people and factions you've met along the way. I seem to recall the ending being a lot more contentious, but I thought that was really enjoyable. I didn't really have much of a moral dilemma. I didn't even consider siding with the board. It seemed kind of ridiculous, considering how awful they've been. It was still a suboptimal ending because I was only able to resuscitate half the scientists, and I know there is another ending where you can save all of them, all the people that were frozen on the Hope ship. But I like how the branching pathways led to a custom slideshow at the end, including when I picked the dumb option at the end and that got featured in the slideshow. This game has charm. There are 2 additional DLC packs that I haven't yet played, and I hope I can get to in the future. But that was the base game. And now that I've played through it a second time, what's my verdict? I thought one of 2 things was going to happen. I thought maybe I'd find a joy in this game that I didn't know existed before and have a more positive opinion of it, or I'd be reaffirmed in my belief that this game is forgettable and not all that great. But frustratingly, the truth lies somewhere in the middle. This game is built well. It does so many things right. It nails so much perfectly. To the point where I almost feel guilty criticizing it because it does things so well. But I do have criticisms, and for every amazing aspect of this game, there's also a significant drawback. The visuals are absolutely amazing. I loved looking at this game from start to finish. But the music was not nearly as nice. It wasn't bad, but it also wasn't memorable. You had a lot of ambient soundtracks, but nothing memorable, nothing that is going to stick with me. I'm never going to seek out the official soundtrack to this game, because no song actually stood out to me. The dialogue system was amazing, perhaps the best it could possibly be. I like the different use of skill checks, I like how they utilize the dumb options a lot, but a lot of the time, the people I'm talking to simply aren't very interesting. They've either been beaten down by the endless grind of capitalism and it's depressing, or they're enthusiastic about the opportunity to serve their corporations faithfully, and that's a different kind of depressing. The companions were useful, they were chatty with each other, had a lot of playful banter, they were unobtrusive, they never got stuck in my way when I was going through a doorway or jumped in front of me during combat. But they were also not very memorable, and also they got pretty chummy with me unusually quick. They were very eager to uproot and throw away their previous lives to join me, and I had maybe 10 lines of shared dialogue with them before they had sworn themselves to my service forever. This was glaringly apparent when I did Felix's loyalty quest, and he proudly stood up and declared himself to be a faithful member of my team and how he would always trust me, even though I talked with him hardly at all. I think I maybe took him on 3 or 4 missions at most. It really didn't feel like I had earned their loyalty, they just gave it to me because I was the player character. And that's why I find The Outer Worlds to be particularly frustrating, because I should like it, I want to like it. It does so many things right, it has so many systems in place, it does so many things well. There is so much potential here, and yet it doesn't feel properly achieved. It's why I'm looking forward to playing the DLC soon, and the sequel, because if they can build upon this very strong foundation, I believe they could have a really amazing game here. And even though the base game of Outer Worlds has fallen flat for me, I still have high hopes for the series. But what do you think? Was I overly harsh? Was I too forgiving? Let me know in the comments, and not just because it optimizes search algorithms or whatever. I genuinely like to hear other people's opinion on this game, because I think it's good, and I wish it were great. My name is Mike, and this has been The Outer Worlds. Thank you for joining me.